The road is long. In a blinking of an eye, all your money could be gone. So here at Let's Talk More Action Live, my co-host, new Brad Shoulders, and I, your host Trevor Lukey, are going to try to navigate the rough waters of the Sweet 16. Welcome in to Let's Talk More Action Live. Again, we can be seen on TikTok at Let's Talk More Action 1. What a fun weekend. I got to start it off this way, though, Brad, is I decided to wear this shirt. I'm sure you have one in your closet. You're probably more deserving of it than I am. But the reason I'm wearing this is because every weekend out of the year, I feel like this shirt probably should apply. But when it gets to one special weekend of every year, this shirt need not apply. And I definitely, as a father, as a husband, I was on no display at all.
I'm with you, brother. I'm the same way, and I probably should have wore some kind of T-shirt that said "biggest jackass ever" because when that Clemson Tigers took a beating, I was being a jerk. Tell you that right
Oh,
now.
all right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I felt that I'm now deserving of this shirt again. Now after the weekend is over, but I'm gonna playfully change into something more humble. So to do that, I thought to myself, I'll do that while you explain as we begin our show. It's going to be 30 minutes tonight. We're going to take you through the Sweet 16. But here's the thing is, again, it's called Less Talk, More Action because we're going to discuss the action a lot in this show. So we're going to give you our picks and we're going to give you our plays, the prop plays. We're not going to sit here and look back at the past, but we do hold ourselves accountable. So we're going to look back at the past for a moment. And Brad, will I put on something more humbling? I'm going to let you start with humble pie and your dog shit Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, it was. I still like them. They I think they scored. I think they scored 13 points in the first half. I mean, that's high school teams. And then they outscored them by 30 in the second half. So I mean, they didn't come to play in the first half, and it killed them and knocked them out. They had 3 or 4 starters returning from their Elite Eight team last year, but what happens in the tournament is you got to be ready to play from jump, or you can go home early. They beat Duke earlier this year. I mean, Duke looks like a man child in this tournament right now, and they beat them earlier. They got the returning starters. I mean, all the pieces were there to at least make a run to the Elite Eight. I couldn't see them dropping in the first round, but they ran into a buzzsaw with McNeese State. They couldn't miss in the first half. Clemson couldn't make a bucket, and they kind of ruined my Final Four. But I'm okay. I rebounded. I was looking at my picks. I won 2 out of my 3 that I gave for the first weekend.
You did. Well done.
So, I mean, I didn't put anything on Clemson. I just had them in my Final Four. It was a kind of a sleeper pick to get out there. Again, if they'd have played anything in the first half like they played in the second half, they win that game going away, and maybe they're still playing. Who knows? But that's the tournament, man. That's how it works. So, I'm eating crow on that one, but I did make some money on these other games. I did take BYU laying to 3.5. They won by 9. Colorado State, who got robbed by Maryland. I mean, Maryland won the game, but boy, that looked like a travel. I don't know. It's to each his own. And I'm a Maryland guy too. I like them. I think they're a good sleeper team in the tournament. But I think Colorado State should have won that game. And then my third play was Yale. They lost by 9. I had anywhere from 7.5 to 8.5, so I could not cover that. But I mean, I was hoping for a late bucket at the end of the game to bail me out. It never happened. So that's what it looked like for me though last weekend.
So part of the show, though, is we talk about responsible betting. The other thing is we hold ourselves accountable. So he gave you Clemson, and it did not turn out right. I was looking at this. It was, yes, an abysmal 9 of 30. But that's not actually the bad part. It was the 1 of 13 in the first half that led to the 13 points. That was abysmal. They were the lowest scoring team of any half in the first round of the tournament. But here's the thing. You got over that. You still gave out a few winners. I will recap my side of things very briefly. I gave you Wisconsin big time. I said just hammer that. I gave you Gonzaga, hammer that. Those were the 2 big, strong ones. Those boys crushed. And then I said, okay, we're going to try UConn. Got that. You got me to get back on my boys from New Mexico. Thank you, Brad. That's what you're here for, a little psychological help. Got back on those guys. So I felt like, okay, I was rolling at about a 4-for-4 clip at that point, but then I did miss on Donovan Dent's player prop but New Mexico still won, and then I did miss on what I thought would be the alt over on the Arizona Akron game when they couldn't shoot. So I was just like, and again, I deserve what I get because I hadn't really seen Akron play. I just knew Arizona could shoot a lot, and Akron's coach said we're going to shoot 40. But anyhow, we hold ourselves accountable. So I think in my range of the plays I gave, I was about 5 of 7. Not bad. But to your point, you cannot expect us every time to hit like 80% of our plays. To make money at doing this, we want to go about 60%. He talked about that on the first show. So I do feel like, though, we've been watching a lot of stuff together. But you also had a poker party Friday, and that went late into the night, I'd imagine. How did how did things work out on the felt?
Well, it not only went late into the night, it actually ended early the next morning. So I did well on the felt. The body didn't recover too well going into Saturday, and I left. I left at like 4 a.m. and my boys they played till 8 o'clock the next morning, and that thing started at 11 o'clock. It's about 11:30, right before tip off to the first game on Friday. They started. I couldn't get there till 4, but I'll tell you, yeoman's effort to those boys. They know how to keep it going. I bailed at some point, but they kept going. But I made money
Okay.
on it was fun.
Okay, so but here I didn't mean it, but here's the thing: is the guy that runs it. Then you turn around. So I wanted the viewers to know this quick. Then we're going to get into the plays. I promise. That's what you're here for. But this is a cool experience. I could not make it. I really wanted to go, but the guy that runs that hits it harder than anybody else that we know. Like this guy. I mean, he burns the candle at the end. He jumped in the car with you and your son and headed up to the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee to watch Illinois take on Kentucky. I mean, seriously, I wanted to be there so bad because you guys text me like, should we pick you up? I'm like, dude, I physically can't do it right now. What was it like? I mean, just tell me, because it was a big, and on TV it looked amazing, but just give our viewers some idea of inside what March Madness is like in a big game like that one.
It was packed. It was electric. I had never been to the Pfizer Forum. I don't think there's a bad seat in the house. Tickets were not cheap. Food was not cheap, but it was a really good show they put on, and we got to watch Illinois and Kentucky. Then right after was Ole Miss and Iowa State. So when you buy a ticket to those, you got to buy the package and get both games. Neither one of them were competitive. I mean, both teams turned into basically a blowout. Illinois, I mean, my team, they just couldn't stop turning the ball over, so that sucked because they had when you look at the talent on the floor, I mean, it was comparable. Illinois could have beat them, but I mean, the point guard has 6 turnovers himself. So anyway, you go in around to, the next game. Ole Miss, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be a good battle with Michigan State. I got Michigan State in your pool going to the Final Four, but I'll tell you what, this Ole Miss is dialed in right now, man. They got it all. They got an inside game, an outside game. Their point guard that wears the white headband, I was impressed with him. Chris Beard is a hell of a coach. That's the thing. When you go to these games, you get to see the stuff on the sidelines that you can't see on TV. And boy, I just like watching him coach, man. Like when they call a timeout and they come together in the huddle, he is just coaching everybody up, and it's just fun to watch. So I've been to Final Fours before, but going to this round to get into the Sweet 16, it was just kind of a different atmosphere, and it was very entertaining. Money well spent.
Okay, well, we're going to get into this now because Brad's got a little foreshadowing of what we're about ready to lead into because that Ole Miss team, oh, look out. Look out. So in this show, real quick, we're going to give you each 2 picks. We're going to give you something to put your money down responsibly. We're going to take a look at a player prop or 2, and then we're going to give you the Final Four, and we're going to get out of here. But in the meantime, though, we've been doing well. We did much better. I shouldn't say much better. We did better last year, but we're still doing well. But I think we're starting to kind of feel it because then a couple of the plays that I had that I did not give out on the show, I caught some fire on Saturday and Sunday night. We didn't have them. The equipment wasn't working. We said we were going to post these shows. We just couldn't do it. Some stuff went wrong with the technology. So, but like John Tanji for Wisconsin got it. He should have won the game, or at least tied the game, sent it to overtime. So one of the craziest things, though, I've got to tell you guys the story quick. One of the craziest things that I saw when I was watching this stuff is I got this group of friends that I'm in that's up in Wisconsin, and I'll just refer to him as Bob. But remember, Wisconsin does not have legalized sports wagering, right? So all he can do is prize picks and something else. So he, in the meantime, is sending me stuff like, "Hey, what do you expect for this, or what do you expect for that?" And so I'm trying to find this. Okay, so he ends up. Okay, so get this, Brad. So he goes, and this is what March Madness, why it makes it so much fun. So he's got a $20 prize pick, and you got to hit all five, right? I mean, you got to take them all. It's the five leg parlay. So his thing, I'm looking at it here on the phone. So it says he's got Trey Kaufman-Renn over 6.5 rebounds. That guy's always got over 6.5. Made great call. He had Tashad Pettiford over 14.5 rebounds and points. Hit that. Darren Williams from Texas Tech over 5.5 rebounds. Hit that. Aaron Scott from St. John's over 13.5 points, rebounds, assists. That was an easy one. I was like, wow. So it comes down to one guy. He's got Keba Keita from BYU, okay? He is sitting at 15 points and boards combined with 5 seconds to go. Wisconsin gets the ball, 20 for 500. John Tanji takes the shot that would tie the game. Now, again, I had him at the over 30 prop, so I crushed that. Tanji's missed shot ends up in Keita's hands with 0.2 seconds to go. He catches it, horn runs out, and guess what? We're all like, oh, this is going to be close. Does Vegas actually decide to be honest and give him his $500, or are they going to short him? And what are they going to do? 20 minutes later, he had the 500 in the account. And to me, I was like, all the things that I've kind of watched throughout the weekend, watching him after he put that thing together, that's what makes March Madness so fun. He's doing it responsible for a $20 play, but it was hilarious to watch the text thread because he was in the game. He was out of the game. He was in the game. And then they brought him in the game just because he was a good shot blocker and rebounder. And when Tanji threw up the air ball, he happened to be standing under the basket, like caught it like this. And my buddy's like, and I'm like, dude, you're good, because ESPN just credited exactly. But it was great. And that's what makes this tournament so much fun. So over the next 15 minutes, we're going to give you those plays. But was there anything that stood out when you and the boys were together on Thursday where somebody hit something that you were like, it took a miracle, or something crazy like that had to happen?
Well, I tell you, when I was watching, the first thing that came to my mind when you talk about that last shot with Tanji, and it has nothing to do with gambling or anything, I just thought, what a horseshit shot that was. I understand getting it to your money, man, for the last shot of the game. But when he tried to dribble into the guy and he's closed off, there's no shot. The guy's taller than him. He had a guy, I believe, in the corner wide open.
Yes.
Dish that son of a bitch. Let him take the shot. I hate when guys get so, I got to win the game. I'm the guy that's got to bring the win home to us. If you're covered, dude, get rid of the ball. It's a team sport. I was so pissed by that because I want to see. I want to see something. It was. I'm still mad about it.
And remember, the thing is, I mean, I'm a Wisconsin fan, and so are all these three guys that were in the text thread. So the other three of us are rooting him on, and my buddy Bob's just kind of like, I don't. And of course, there was a point where they took him out of the game. He's like, oh, I don't think I'm going to get it. And of course, I was like, I didn't want to tell him, like, yeah, you're not getting this, dude. And then when he got it, I was like, yeah. But to your point, Tanji at that point, though, had become such a one-man show, and he was just plowing through everybody. And I think he thought, I got to take this on my shoulders and do it on my own. He should have never done it. And I think, it was one of those situations. And so here we go. Now BYU makes their way to this side of the bracket, and here we go.
Look good. I'll tell you what, BYU could score with anybody right now. The way they're shooting, anybody. They're fun to watch.
All right, so here we go. Let's get into this. So here we go. Let's see here.
How about when you're looking up you wanted another crazy situation? How about Danny Hurley? What a dick! Is he a dick?
I didn't see this. What happened? I don't even know what happened.
He was walking off the court. They had lost, so they were like in the tunnel going to the locker room, and the next team that was playing was coming out. I can't remember who it was. It might have been A&M or somebody. And Hurley said, "Well, I hope they don't F you like they. I hope they don't F you like they F'd us." and somebody caught it on camera and got the sound bite and everything. And the communications director for UConn pulled the guy aside and said, "If you publish that, if you put that on social media, I'm going to destroy you." Did you see? Now Hurley's got a 3-game suspension to start next year. I mean, what a dick though. The guy's
Oh, I didn't
won.
even see that.
You haven't seen that? Oh man, you got to check that out when we get off here. Look at the social media on that. He's got a
Okay.
he came down today. 3-game suspension to start next season, but just being a dick. I mean, you've won 2 in a row. You got knocked out. It was a great game. Florida got hot at the end of the game, came back and won it. Great battle of 2 behemoths, but quit being such a childish. Oh man, someone needs to punch him in the face.
Well, we don't promote violence on this show because remember we wear shirts that say "the best dad ever," so we don't try to promote violence on the show. But nevertheless, okay. So I kind of saw a little bit of it, but I didn't see the extent. Here's the thing: I will tell you guys that are watching the show, hang in there. I got something cool at the end of the broadcast that I'm going to give you. But the thing is, I try not at this time of year to listen to all the noise from ESPN because ESPN has been so shitty over the last 10 years at picking the Final Four, getting things right. So I try to kind of block out the noise, and I've just been busy with other stuff, but I try not to pay attention to what they're trying to tell you to do. And so as we take a look at the bracket and kind of what's left of it, we get into this side of things. And so you have BYU and Alabama, and Maryland and Florida are your first 2 games. So I do remember this, though, is to your point, though, I had actually taken UConn because I said UConn I thought would cover the spread against Florida. I also thought that, remember, Houston would probably get beat by Gonzaga in the second round. I missed that, but Gonzaga and UConn as 8 seeds against, or sorry, what Gonzaga were they the 9? No, they were the 8, and
Right.
UConn I believe was the 8 too. They gave a hell of a run against both number 1 seeds, and I thought one of them at one point, Florida I thought was going to lose. And I definitely thought Gonzaga was going to come back and beat Houston. So now we're here.
Yeah, no, I really, to be honest with you, if Florida doesn't just start shooting unconscious at the end of the game, they're going home because UConn dominated that thing for 38 minutes. Man, they fell apart in the last 2 minutes, but it was UConn could definitely be in the Sweet 16 right now. And Florida, hey, but it's tournament time, so what do they say? Survive and advance, man. That's all. Survive and advance all the way to the championship. So that's all they did.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you this. We preach survive in advance in money management on the show, but I'm going to tell you that is all out the window at 6:09 Central Time when Alabama meets BYU because the hell with survival. I'm taking a plane full of money and putting it on Alabama. They are such the superior team. If I'm going to make one play, a big play, during this round of the tournament, I am giving you Alabama. I'm giving you Alabama at a very large rate here because Mark Sears can shoot. They have a legit point guard, but they have 3 bigs that can all play and all beat you on the interior. And when you look statistically at how good this team is, Alabama is the play. And here's why. You got Mark Sears, again, he is going to be in the NBA as a point guard. But here's what stands out to me is you have Clifford Amarui, you have Mohamed Diabate, and you have Grant Nelson. 3 legit bigs. These guys, BYU, I don't know. And again, nobody shoots the 3 better than Alabama. If Alabama comes out and let's just hypothetically say, which they could do, goes up 20-10, it's over already. Go cash the check. BYU does not have the firepower to catch up, and that's why at 5.5, this is the gift that will keep on giving.
I like it. You know, everything you said there is spot on.
But you don't seem enthusiastic like I do. Don't sit back like I
No,
think
I
this
like
is.
it. The
Come on.
the one caveat is BYU can shoot, and Alabama is not known for their defense. If this turns into a track meet and BYU happens to be on fire because these good 3-point shooting teams, sometimes it's a roller coaster. If they come out and start nailing their 3 points, they can stay in the game for sure. Alabama's definitely more talented from end to end on the roster, but BYU can shoot the damn rock. And that, but I'm with you. I'm playing a teaser here. I'm playing 2 teasers, and I got Bama teased down to 1.5, and then if you want the other half of it,
Okay,
I'll give that.
I don't yet. Okay, I don't yet. Now, we're just going to go through this fast. I don't have a play on Florida or Maryland. I told you if Florida could get beat, it could come at the hands of UConn. I don't think it comes at the hands of Maryland. You said Maryland probably doesn't even belong here at this point, slightly. But man, Derek Queen is the real deal. They have a decent backcourt and 3 really good guards. They also have Julian Reese, another big guy. This is going to be another big test for Florida. I don't like the game. I don't like the line. I don't like the over under. You got anything that you're thinking here to just give the audience some action?
No, I don't want to play it either. It's a scary one. The thing about Florida though is they got some bigs that are going to give Queen. They don't. Maryland isn't deep in the middle as Florida is. So this is a step up in competition for Maryland as well. So I'm thinking the Cinderella shoes they come off in this game, but I don't want to play it because Maryland's got nothing to lose. They're going in there free and easy. But I could see Florida pounding, especially if, let's say, Queen gets into foul trouble or something. Then what do you have? And Florida's got some bigs that can just pound the basket. So I this is a scary one. This is one you just kind of
Don't
watch.
don't you know? You were talking about some prop play. I thought you said, or some guy you thought you might keep your eye on, or something. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah.
Walter, that's the Florida game. Yeah, Walter Creighton. He transferred in from my own, and he's been carrying Florida right now. He's hot. He's as hot as anybody.
Yeah.
I just like Florida from. I mean, that roster is stacked, dude. Yeah, they damn near got beat by UConn, but it was going to take a hell of an effort to knock UConn out. I don't care where they were ranked, what their record was. They're well coached. They got a lot of talent on that team. They know their system in and out, and they had nothing to lose either. They were low seed. Everyone was writing them off, and they came out ready to play, and they could have easily won that game. But I think Florida survived that, and I think they're ready to get back on the stomping train. But I could be wrong.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to give you, though. If you like Walter Clayton Jr., follow me here.
Okay.
You're talking Walter Clayton Jr., the guy that transferred in from Iona. Yeah, they're not in this tournament without him because he had to get them past UConn. And I'm curious why FanDuel.
Dogs are barking. They must like this pick.
Oh, ew. Hang on. Here you go. Okay. So this tells you, man, you're on the right track, bud, because here's the thing is they don't offer me. Look at this. So you can't get Clayton at 3 threes. Sit FanDuel, thanks, guys. We know we can't even bet in Illinois. Now you're going to screw up. Okay, so you can't even take -3 money. So here's what Brad's saying is 4 plus threes, Walter Clayton Jr. catching +162. Probably not a bad idea, and here's why. I got to bring again, we do the show live. We got to toggle between things. You got to be patient. But Walter Clayton Jr., he took 274 3-point attempts during the year. The next closest guy on his team took 206. So he shoots about 75 more threes. And the thing is, he knocked down 106 of them. So his shooting rate, and this is sick, actually. This is NBA talent. He's NBA. He shoots at almost 40% from 3.
Wow.
So here's the thing: if Florida wins this game and they get a softer Maryland defense, and he starts knocking these down, plus money here, Brad, is not a bad place to be to try to go ahead. And again, responsible gaming. Brad and I go 1 unit during March Madness at 25 for 40. Okay,
and have fun watching that too, because it's always nice to see some lining up the threes from downtown. That's a good bet. I like it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, and I like that too. I'm saying to myself, yeah, okay, that's not bad okay, so here's the other thing is if I'm going to this, and again, we were talking about a unit, 25, I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. People are like, well, what are you doing? This, after what I've done so far in this tournament and where I'm at, it's a 4-unit play. You're going to get the plus money. You're getting Alabama at -5.5. So this is really ultimately my play right now of this round. Again, but to Brad's point, if Alabama's cold, I'm in trouble. But I just don't see it. I think they're too deep. He's giving you Walter Clayton Jr., not a bad play. Duke, Arizona. I don't have a play unless you do.
I do not. I do not. That's
Okay,
another.
so I'm going to
That's
just avoid.
one.
I'm going to avoid it then.
Yeah, just pass on by. That's too big, too much, too rich. You get down. You
It's a
get
lot
down,
of.
and it is a lot of points, man. It's just too rich for me. I look for them smaller point spreads or try to tease them up and balloon them up. But yeah, I don't like that.
Okay, so that's not your teaser because I'm waiting for your teaser. This ought to be good. So now let's go to the next game: Texas Tech and Arkansas. I have a play on this game because a lot of my money is going to be made on Thursday night, or my wife and I won't be going out to eat on Friday. So what do you what's
That's
your
the other
take on
part. That's the other part of my teaser. I'm taking Texas Tech down to 1.5, and I'm teasing them with your Alabama boys, and they'll be
it? Okay,
laying
so
one and a.
let's teach the art of the basketball teaser. So Brad and I were talking about this. It's only 4 points. So if Brad's clicking, sorry, you wanted who?
I like Tech. Take that Texas Tech while you're there. Tease them
Okay,
down,
okay,
and then go back up to Bama. Tease them
okay,
down.
okay. So let's get in this and show the audience how we're doing this or what we're doing. Okay, so you come here, and I gotta slim the screen down. But right here, there's teasers. See this? I'm gonna move my hand around teasers. So you're gonna click this. It automatically, actually, so they're gonna give you an automatic 5. Okay, you can go to 4.5, you go to 5, 5. So what Brad's trying to tell you though is if you like it at 5, Brad, I don't mind this because all you're asking him to do is win a game. You actually cut the spread out of it. And right here tells you what you're paying on the leg of minus 128. Now, if he wants to go and be more aggressive, and he says, I think they could both win by 2, you can get yourself at 4, which is what we thought it was. You expose
Yeah,
yourself to losing by a point, but you get yourself to minus 102. So is there
that's what
one side or the other you're feeling better with?
I like. That. I like that. Let's do the 4 point tease. Let's lay less money
You
on
have to
that.
do more though. Right. Yeah, I got it. Okay. I you so if you're doing this though, you do have to do more. You've got to come because you can't just do a unit because you're teasing. You have to come with something a little more. I don't know why this is not applying right now. I think probably because that thing interrupted me. But anyways, if you took 50, if I uncheck this and I uncheck that. Yes, I know. Thank you. I
Yeah.
needed to tease it. Okay. There. So 49.21. So I mean it's basically even money. I feel good about this. I feel good about let me get myself back on camera. I feel good about this play till I don't. Till I don't.
Well, the reason, I mean, I know it's even money basically, and the reason I like it is because I can't see you teasing Bama down. I think we got a winner
No,
there. In
no. You're not picking up what I'm putting down. This is why we do the show live. This is why we don't ask each other what we're doing. We have our own ideas. And Arkansas is going to lay the lumber to Texas Tech behind the woodshed.
now, the slipper's coming off, baby, for Arkansas. The Cinderella slipper is off. They're done. I'm done with
Uh,
them.
well, I wouldn't call that a slipper. You have a nightgown to go with that.
It was a. It might not be a Cinderella variety, but it's a slipper.
Okay, here's what I'm telling you 5.5 points for these guys. Okay, so now when you do this, you got to get back to the bet slip so you can't do this. So now it allows me. So I'm going to come back on screen here for a second. So this is why I'm feeling this. Here's why.
You're going
I
the other way.
agree with you to this. If Texas Tech wins this game, so my buddy Matt does this all the time. If Texas Tech wins this game, Texas Tech wins and it goes under because Texas Tech's defense then showed up and their defense shut them down and Arkansas lost because they went under the 148.5 total. If Arkansas wins, I'm not saying it goes over or under, but Texas Tech, if they're going to win, has to go under, okay? Now, Arkansas is getting one of their come on now. Arkansas is getting one of their best players back, which he was out. Okay, so he's going to play now.
Who's
This is what
that?
I'm trying to tell you. What's that?
Who's that?
Okay, so I'm getting into it right now. There's a lot going on. I've got to try to navigate this.
Yeah,
Okay,
didn't mean to distract you there.
so
Don't.
here's what we got. Arkansas is huge. They have 3 legit bigs and 3 guards. So they have their big guys are Dew Thiero. They have Carter Knox, Jonas Adu, who was at Tennessee, and Travion Brazil. But Brazil, Adu, and Thiero are very, very good athletic bigs. And then they have guards Boogie Fland and John L. Davis and DJ Wagner. So here's the thing why I don't like Texas Tech here is basically Arkansas takes wherever Texas Tech is as athletic or has been athletic throughout the season, Arkansas negates that at almost every position, and then they're just too big in the paint, and they're well coached. And you've been talking about coaching in this tournament, and they're very well coached.
Wait a minute, Arkansas is
Yes.
the same coach that told him to miss the free throw at the end of the South Carolina game with 2 seconds in the game. That coach. All right, all right,
Yes.
all right. You sell it. I still ain't buying it. They're done. Take the slipper off them. Calipari can recruit. He can dress. I don't think he coaches worth a shit. That's my opinion. He usually out recruits everybody. He's got so much talent on the floor, it takes him a long way. But when it comes to X's and O's, I ain't buying it. But that's all right. That's your pick. We don't have to.
I just Calipari has this weird thing when it comes to March. I don't know. And him and Patino, I thought that was a cool little dynamic that they had. I thought that was kind of cool. But anyhow, I agree with you. When he told him, I was waiting. I was like, I know he's going to say he missed the free throw intentionally, and I brought that up on the last show. And I'm like, he's going to make me eat, crow for the. So I was like, I knew it was coming. But anyway, so
okay. That was the dumbest call I think I've seen, and I can't tell you how long. But anyway.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you this, though. So here's where I'm going with props on this. Go into player rebounds. Okay. Texas Tech has JT Toppin. The dude, he's top 5 lottery pick, I would imagine. Okay. But Brazil and Adu are also very athletic around the glass. And I really feel like, here you go, 8 rebounds. One of the two of these, I don't know who. I wish I had the answer on the way back to the Futures Sports Betting Guide. But Brazil or Adu will get 8 rebounds at plus money in that 110 or 122. I'm just telling you, if you're looking for something late at night and you're like, I don't want to play the game and you want something else, one of those two guys is going to smash the glass. So you can take that to the bank. And if you really want to get excited, you could try 10 and the number goes way up. But these guys are both capable of getting 10 at any time. And that's 255 and 300 on your money. So I do feel good about that. So we're going to move on and away from this game where we have a difference in opinion. I do think your tease, though, if I'm feeling the way I feel, Arkansas is not going to blow them out. So if you're going to tease them and get Texas Tech into a position, I like your situation again to the audience where you're minimizing the spread and only going to 1 point and 1 point. And I do like that creativity.
That's what I think. I just think it's going to be most of these games outside of maybe Duke and maybe even your Alabama game. But I think most of them are going to be pretty close because you've got 16 really good teams left. And I don't see no blow. I don't see what we saw this last weekend in any of these games, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So you got to win a game is what you got to do. You got to try to find a couple of teams where you're just trying to win a game. And that's what I did with that.
So here we go. We'll keep this moving. We got about 5 to 7 minutes left. So what's your thoughts on Ole Miss, Michigan State? Immediately got to have action on Friday night or not?
Yep, and I'm teasing Ole Miss. Give me up to 7.5, 8 points, man. Okay. I'm telling you, I was impressed before the tournament. Just watching them when I was at the Pfizer Center, they got a squad, man, and they're well coached, and they play defense. They get after it on the defensive end. Not that Michigan State doesn't, but these two are going to be in each other's face. There ain't going to be a whole lot of easy baskets in this game.
Okay, so come back on camera. If I do well Thursday night, we're riding together on this one. I am going to smash Ole Miss. So Again, it's responsible wagering though. So if I don't do well on Thursday, I have enough. Not I've done well enough that I can place 250 or two $100 plays. If I miss Thursday, well, I'm going to probably settle back into maybe Old Miss at 50. If this hits and I come out on the other side, Brad, to your point, after what you saw and watched and how good I think this team is, this would turn into an 8 unit play if I did well Thursday night. So again, I'm not taking everything I've won, but I am with you. I think this team can legitimately beat Michigan State, move themselves to the Elite Eight, and get themselves there. Now, I'm going to just give you, from a player perspective, points. So let's get into this. So player points. You said the guy in the headband. Well, the guy in the headband is named Sean Padula. How good
What,
did he look in person?
dude? He can get anywhere he wants on that court. He is so feisty. He can shoot it too. He doesn't shoot it a ton. He's a pure point guard. He sets everybody up, but when he needs to get a bucket, and Ole Miss needs to get a bucket, you can just kind of see Beard leaning on him, like, "Let's go get it. We need a bucket," and he knows exactly what to do. He's tough, man. He can handle the ball. He's just really good player. I never knew much about him till you see him up close like that. But I tell you, he is definitely Chris Beard's extension on the court. Them two are arm in arm with each other, and that's his man. That's his boy there. I'm assuming he's the captain. He's got to be the captain of that team.
He is.
He's a
So he came from Virginia Tech last year. So sometimes,
good.
guys, you'll also see me going in and out of camera. And the reason for that is I do have to, I'm looking stuff up, whatever I know. You're like, why has he got to do all, because you got to have, so you got to toggle between screens and everything. But Brad, I love his feistiness. So he was a Virginia Tech Hokie a year ago. But here's the thing is he did take 213 threes. So not as many as your Walter Clayton Jr. pick. Like that guy shot probably more threes than most. But Padula shot 213 threes. He ended up only making 85, but he still shoots it. He still shoots it at a 40% clip. So my thing is this. Again, I'm not looking at the point part. I'm with you. But if they're going to stay in this game and this kid's going to keep him in the game, I got to think he's going to shoot some threes. And here's where I think you might be able to find, depending on what FanDuel decides to give us. Look at this, though, Brad. He's plus three threes. He's plus 112. I like that line.
What and I that is a nice line. Is there a prop where you like take his assists, points, rebounds? Is there anything like that on him?
Yeah. So okay, yeah. So now you got here it is up here to everybody. It's a great question he's asking. So you up here at player points, player threes, player rebounds, player assists, player combos. So when you go into the player combo total, here he is right here. Total points, total assists. They don't have a rebound total. So that's what it is. So he's 19 on over an assist, points, sorry, just points and assists. And to your point, Brett, when I look at his minutes played, he's played 1,156 minutes. The closest guy next to him barely played 1,000, meaning this dude never leaves the court.
No, unless he gets in foul trouble, that would be the only thing. They
Now,
when they bring him out, you could see him too. It's totally strategic. They bring him out towards the end of, when they know a timeout's coming, they'll bring him out right before half. Blah blah. I mean, they know they don't want him off the court very much, so they try to get him as much blow as he can.
yeah.
Not the wet stuff, the other. But anyway, he's an energizer bunny. The dude is a good player, man. And to win this
Okay.
tournament, to get to the Final Four, you need a point guard like this guy. I'm a firm believer in that. He is tough. Go ahead.
Okay, no, that's it. So, I mean, I'm with you. And here's the thing is, again, I'm Bama, I'm Arkansas, I'm Ole Miss. So, do you see, and again, that's part of your teaser, is you were telling me you wanted to tease them up from 3.5 to about 7.5. Do
Yep.
you see something in Kentucky or Tennessee that you think could or any of these other three? Here's the thing: is I guess I'm just going to cut to the chase with our audience. I don't see much now in the rest of this tournament that I like. I don't like the Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Auburn, or Purdue, Houston. Is there something else that stands out to you?
Well, I gotta put something with Ole Miss on that teaser, so
Right. So what was that?
I'm gonna take Tennessee down,
Okay.
and I'm gonna
I like that.
remind everyone for the first freaking half of this college basketball season, they were the undeniable ranked number one team in the nation. I think they're finding their stride again. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. And so you'd go 5. I think you actually probably be good at 4.5 to get a little extra money here and just go +8 and go a pick on Tennessee. And that way, if you hit the 8, you actually push. You actually then it defaults to a single play. So the 50 only wins like 20 back, but it's still a return of 70 total. So I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Because I watched Kentucky played Illinois at the game, and I wasn't. Kentucky was okay, was nothing special. I did get a chance to meet the coach's daughter, though Pope's daughter. He was meeting. He was that picture I sent you of that Kentucky eating at the restaurant next to us.
Yeah,
did you get that?
I did.
What was that player's name? You while you're looking.
Noah. He was Noah.
Okay, so we're eating lunch at some tavern or some restaurant in Milwaukee, and right next to our table was these fans from Kentucky. All had Kentucky gear on. They all said Noah, Noah's grandma, Noah's papa, Noah's this, Noah's that. And so I just made I was talking to my buddy. I go, let's see if they're related to him. I said loudly to my buddy who was sitting right next to me, I said, man, that Noah dude from Kentucky sucks. And as I said that, their whole family, all of their heads turned over to me. So then I knew that they were related. And I said, I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding. Are you guys related to Noah? And the grandma said, yes, I'm his grandma. There's his grandfather. This is his dad. And across the table was his girlfriend. And I found out later it's Coach Pope's daughter. She's a knockout too, by the way. And to shorten this whole story up, while we're sitting there eating, the mom gets up and rushes outside for some reason. I thought something happened outside, like they got carjacked or something out there. They had parked in the wrong spot and ended up getting their car towed. So there was, but it didn't matter. I mean, they came out and won the game because I was giving a lot of shit about that. I said, "Oh, Kentucky's off on the wrong foot. I don't like what I'm seeing here." So just a little Sweet 16 love there.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Back to the pick.
Okay, I have a pick though. Are you ready? Okay, so audience has waited around. I got something sweet that I've built out, created. Y'all gonna love it. So you got to hang on. Here's the thing: is you have told me time and time and time again throughout conference tournaments to now, Kentucky's defense is a dumpster fire floating down the street. If you've ever seen that emoji. It's trash. It is hot garbage. So, okay, Chaz Lanier rips off a ton of threes. So, and I love any but my uncle's name is Chaz. So I was like, got it. Okay, so Chaz Lanier shot 293 threes, almost in the ballpark of Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah, I said, man.
Huh?
I said elbow, buddy. He's a lot of shots from out there.
He hits 120 at a 42% clip. If Tennessee's defense is horseshit on the perimeter, this thing is making money for you all weekend long and on Sunday. There's no way he's not making 4 threes. The way you and I have talked about how bad this team is at defending anything, 50 returning you 76 because you get a nice little bump on the 152, he's going to take at least a minimum of 6, if not 7, and all he has to do is get to that 4, which would be on that 40%. There you go. Make your money. Take it to the bank.
I like it. That Kobe Bria, I'll tell you what, he lit Illinois' ass on fire. He could not miss. Yeah. That boy's got a nice jump shot too.
But for those, to your point, here's the defense. Illinois' defense is shit. So that's why your same rule applies here to Tennessee and Chaz Lanier.
And here she is, by the way. I just had to get that in.
It's hard to see. We did see that it's a hot blonde. Yes, it's hard. It's hard to see. Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, she's attractive for a woman. Yeah, there you go.
I thought I just wanted to add a little color to the color, but go ahead.
Yeah, all right. You brought you've brought in good color to this show today with your picks,
Seats,
your
baby.
play,
I'm bringing
and your
seats, man.
energy and humor. So you should be. That's what you should have been. You should have been a color commentator back in the day. But now is the time for the exciting part of the show that everybody's been waiting for. Uh, is Brad? We can't leave without doing what we were used to doing. Oh my God! Did I just? Here we go. Oh my God! Responsible gaming. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay,
Hey,
here
be
we go.
careful.
I gotta come.
Careful
Just
putting
a
your
minute.
credentials out there.
Don't leave us now. I got.
Careful, hey, careful putting your credentials out there, brother.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's a dummy account. But just give me a second. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do though in this part of the show. We are going to build you your final four. The odds of doing this are insane. So stick around here for 1 second. Let me get back to this and let me show you what we're going to do because you want to do this because you're going to have a ton of fun. So, obviously, Brad, as I get back into this, you've been heavy on Old Miss. And so I'm going to assume, is it safe to say you're going back on Old Miss for our part of March Madness?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very.
Okay. Because I'm feeling if there's an upset a coming, I think it's going to come in the fashion of the running Rebels. I really do. I think that team has legit guards. They've got two bigs. This Jeremy Brakefield guy and Malik Dia are very good. So let's go back to this quick. I appreciate everybody hanging around. Here we go. So I'm going to share this with you. Again, where do you find this? You have to come over here and you got to see this right at the top of the screen. You scroll over in the bar. You got South region, West region, East region, Midwest region. So if you look at the South region, Brad wants Old Miss. Look at this, 7-1 to come right out of the gate swinging. Okay, I think that is a good spot. Let me move this out of the way. I got to get over here. Okay, 7-1, Brad. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, it makes up for the bottom side of that bracket because it ain't going to be near as sweet as that. But so take that, take all that.
Okay, so let me see here. So we go 7-1. So then you come over here to the West region. You're on Texas. I think the safe play is just Florida, right?
Yeah.
So I think you just go Florida, right?
I was just taking check in that teaser. Yeah, no, I got Florida's. They got all the talent in the world. They could win the damn thing.
Okay, so now I'm just saying if you decided to build a three-legger right here, 46-1 to go Old Miss, Florida, Alabama. I know this is heavy. I get it. It's SEC. I get it. I understand. But 29-22. You want entertainment in the show. You want entertainment in life for good value. This is how you do this. So my only thing is I am with Brad on the Old Miss. Is there something else that you think could possibly happen where you're like, okay, one is not like the other? Do you take Houston, Tennessee, Kentucky here? Do you try something else to build this out?
Show me where's Tennessee at plus
Right here,
240.
240.
Right? Wow, look at the difference between Tennessee and Kentucky, and then you look at the point spread. I'm feeling even better about my tees on Tennessee, man.
You bet.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if anything out of those there, I would take Tennessee. I'm not sold on Houston. I don't know. You know,
I'm not either.
I'm not sold on them.
Hypothetically, if you decided to go Old Miss, like something weird, I'm just throwing this out. If you went like Old Miss, Kentucky, Duke, and you tried to get all four right and go with what Brad's saying, do you think Texas Tech could beat Florida, or is that just nah?
Nah, I don't. I ain't buying it. I can't. That's
so.
giving money.
You have the 4-leg parlay, and it's 20 for 2,586. So I guess what I'm trying to tell the audience and show the audience is, you want your entertainment for the weekend on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Build a few of these. I'm not saying this is the right. This is not the answer key. I'm sorry. I wish I had that or we had that. But I'm trying to say, for the amount of money you might have fun. Set a budget. So maybe you set a budget for $50 to do this. Place 5 of them for $10. This one pays $1,293. Screw around with combinations of what things would look like if you believe in this is going to happen. This team's going to get there. This team's going to get it. But here's what I will tell you, Brad. we've discussed this. Not every Final Four team's going to. I can't imagine. I guess you could build it and try it, but I don't think you're going to see all number one seeds in the Final Four. I mean, I just can't imagine that. But
No, not most likely you're not. But like you know what you just suggested there is a great way to play the weekend. Set yourself a $50 limit. Put five of these games together. You know, five of these bets together, and I mean, and just work different combinations, and you can have a lot of fun. And my if you catch one of these, man, look at the payday on them. I like it. That's a great look at it right there. You know, I didn't even thinking about that, but that's a way to have a lot of fun and not spend a ton of money.
so my only other thing is why not the Big Ten champs? I guess. I mean, they won the tournament. They won the Big Ten championship. They've been playing well. I don't think Auburn's as good as everybody thinks they are. It's Janiyah Broom or nothing. And I mean, my only thing is, I just think. I mean, I think this, and I'm going to come back and then we're going to close the show. But what I'm saying is Brad and I said just toy around. I mean, like just take a look at what can happen. You know, if you dump off Florida and you think Texas Tech has a chance, you know, or maybe even Arkansas in my world. You know, look at this: Arkansas, Michigan, Houston, Duke, 10 for 1,803. You guys, everybody chases the big payday. I'm sorry, I'm just telling you, if you're going to chase the big payday, this is probably one of the coolest, funnest ways to try to get that big payday, but at the same time, looking like you have all this basketball knowledge when you're with your friends, probably at the bar, sharing, having a bourbon or whatever. I just feel like this is one of the coolest things, Brad, you can do. You got to do it responsibly. Set a budget, whatever that is in your world, even if they're $5 and you only have 20. But try 4 or 5 of them and see what happens. And man, if you hit one, whoa, you and the
Right.
wife can head off to dinner.
But what I would do is if I was going to do five of these, I would try to take one team and key on it that I feel real good about being there, like you
Mm-hmm.
have, like say Duke. So key on Duke, put them in there, and then rearrange the other three. I wouldn't put in five of them with four different teams in there on each one. I would key because you know you're going to get Duke or Florida into that Final Four. I really truly believe that. So key on one of those two, and then build it out with these other semi flyers. That would be my opinion.
Uh, no, I do like it, and you know, like Florida's kind of ours, and I think everybody agrees. Listen, they got their scare against UConn, Maryland. Sorry, but they do. I lost my whole thing. Now where did it go? So I'm looking. I just have to look here. So Maryland. I mean, they're going to get another test from Maryland, and you know, I think once they get past that, I just don't think Texas Tech or Arkansas have enough. You know, so I mean, if we're going to go to the end of this now, we're going to go for the Final Four picks. I like Ole Miss. I think they somehow could get themselves in that position. If Kentucky finds themselves a way to play some defense in the neck over the weekend, I think they legitimately have enough talent to get there. I really do. I said that at the beginning of the show. I thought Kentucky could do that. I also think Alabama will give Duke, if they can hit their threes, everything they can handle. So I mean, do I have a Final Four for you? Not really. But I mean, the bottom line is I'm thinking it's kind of down the lines of Alabama, Florida. Um, I do feel like it's going to be either Ole Miss or Michigan State, somewhere in that vicinity. So I mean, unless you got something else solid before we let everybody go.
I don't have something solid, really. I mean, it could go a lot of different ways, obviously, but I'll just throw four teams out because it's the freaking Final Four. We got to name something. So I'm going Ole Miss and Florida on one side, and I'm going Duke, Tennessee on the other side. I know it's a lot of chalk other than Ole Miss. The rest is chalk. Well, I mean, Tennessee's a 2 seed.
But
So
the
I
whole
got
tournament's been chalk. So I
it
like
has.
that. The whole tournament's been chalk.
I got two ones, a two, and a what's Ole Miss? Five, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Okay. So I've got a 6, two ones, and a two. It could happen, might not. I'm gonna drink a lot of
Yeah.
beer either way, you know.
Well, and the only thing I'm with is I like Alabama. So it's really for me, it's Alabama, Kentucky, Florida. Um, and as odd as this is going to sound, I'm kind of out there with this. Is an Ole Miss. I love it. I think they're deep. I think they got a great guard, and I think they get it done. So hopefully we get it done for you over the weekend. So that's going to wrap up the show. We will try to get you, possibly depending on technical stuff working, we'll try to get you something out, and maybe for if we have Saturday and Sunday's game, maybe kick something out in the morning on Saturday. But so check back. We'll see how we can do if everything's up and running. But anyways, for my co-host Brad Shoulders, I'm your host Trevor Lukey. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you at the Final Four later.
Bye-bye.